shallow translation that the Chinese teach us. Well, Siu means small, Ning means thought, concept, or idea, Tao means head. So it's not like the Tao for the philosophy. Cantonese has 7 tones. One word can be said 7 different ways. So it's a different Tao. Tao means head, so it means small ideas in the head. So I've asked the average Chinese person to explain it, and they usually just say little idea. But if you ask someone who's scholarly, an academic thinker, they say something different. It's basically like, one guy a professor gave me an idea, like, if you see the cartoon with the balloons and a light bulb, it's like a light bulb going off in your head. So another person said it was like getting small epiphanies. So that's what it actually means. A little idea, a small idea is just kind of like a generic translation, okay? So let's run through the first 4. Feet at a 45-degree angle, so you have balance, okay? You bring your arms up and make 2 fists. And the purpose of this is to make sure that your forearm and your wrist and your knuckles and hand are in one line. So you don't end up like this or like that. So you don't want to punch like this or punch like that. You want this all to be in one line. So you should be checking that when you bring this up. Then you're going to elbow back, circle to the left, circle to the right. Pelvis bone push forward, knees pinch in. Not in this way, to an imaginary apex of a triangle. So you want to push your knees this way, pushing forward, okay? You want a high chamber. The high chamber enables you to breathe from your diaphragm. If your chamber is low, you can use your thorax to breathe. You want to breathe from the diaphragm. So this high chamber makes you use the diaphragm to breathe, okay? So the next section of the form, hands crossed in front, hands crossed up. Now, in case some of you don't know, traditional Wing Chun is a central line system as opposed to center line. So this just defines 2 imaginary variables, 2 imaginary lines here. I define them down here, and I redefine them up there. So it enables me to punch on my central line and block on my center line. So generally, if you do the Tan Sao, you would Tan in the center, punch along your central line. So if the punch came to my head, I block in the center, punch along my central line. So that's why you define this line, okay? So you're gonna bring it up, 2 fists pull back. Next, place your fist in the center of your body. You wanna help me? Okay? Point it at a target in front of you. Now, if you do this, point your hand up here. When you strike, you're going to do a scraping punch. You don't want to scrape, you want to drive through. So you point your fist towards your opponent's face. So the hand should be like this, not pointing up. If you're fighting Wolf Chamber, one of them. Okay. Your other fist should be off your body. At least 2 fingers off your body. That makes you have to focus on the other hand. So traditional Wing Chun, we learn how to use 2 hands independently. So it's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head. So if this hand is just sitting here, you're not focusing on it. The right side of your brain controls the left side of your body and vice versa. So while I'm using one hand, I have to focus on this one. Okay, so that hand shouldn't touch you. Okay, so drive the fist out the center. Circle around. Make a fist and elbow to the rear. Now do the other side on your own. Okay? Next, the Tan. Tan Sao means to disperse in Chinese, or spread. So it's like spreading peanut butter. So you don't want to flip, because you couldn't flip peanut butter on the bread. Right? You have to spread, or disperse in a straight line. So you bring your left hand to your center, push forward, and make sure you occupy the center of your body. You want the bend of your wrist parallel to the tip of your nose. Okay? I'll borrow your seafood for a second. One punch you do right now. One punch. If I block like this, push through. My hand wouldn't be able to support the force of the blow. So I have to have this here, push through now, right? So you want to have this part of your wrist parallel to the tip of your nose. So we're going to do that.
That's right.
Yes.
Is the elbow.
The elbow's inside. Okay? The elbow's inside. That's good. Okay, now I'm going to do a lao sao. Circle around. Now the elbow's outside the body. Should help a little bit more. Go back. There's something some people don't know about the form. I want to have my fingers pulling back. There are a couple of reasons. Turn it on for a second. Let me use your shirt.
Oh.
Okay. No, just side. That's all right. All right. I can touch his skin now, but if I pull the shirt taut, it's hard to touch it. It protects it. If it's loose, I can hit his arm. If I pull it taut, I can't. So we use this to stop blows. So if your hand, this is the ulnar bone. If you hold your hand like this, you can touch the ulnar bone very easily. If you pull it back, you see the muscle and the tissue stretch. You want a little taut to protect the bone. So you should pull your hand back this way, not pointing like that, not too far back, but pull back. The same principle works when you do the jut sao. When I jut to my left, I pull my fingers to the right so it stretches the tissue. It stretches the skin and it protects this bone. When I do the jut that way, the same principle. I pull to the left so it protects the bone here. So when you're doing Silum Tao, you want to pull back a little bit. I saw some people do it like this. Pull this back, you want to protect the bone. Okay? All right. Now with this position, you want the thumb parallel to the tip of your nose, because that protects this part of your face, with this part of the palm. This is the part you want to make contact with if someone throws a punch. So if someone threw a punch to my head, I'd make contact here. Right? So by having this parallel to your nose, that's what you're blocking with. With your fingers, it would support the force of the blow, it would collapse. Okay? So let's see you do this. Pull back towards your face. Push forward. Forearm in the center, so I can't strike you. Good. So up like this, it goes forward and down. Okay? Now circle to your left. Now don't do this. Wind up and do it. As soon as you go from this full sao position, go immediately to your left. Come back up, cover the upper gate. Pull back. Up to the next section. Drop down to the south. This isn't a movement, this is just preparatory position. From here, you're not doing anything special, just drop your hand and push forward. You do 3 of those, circle around. Pull your fingers back towards you. Remember what I explained before? Pull it back. Protect this. Protect that bone. Okay, this is the last one. Come here for a second. Let me borrow you. Okay. Keep it. Just relax for a second. The jut sao's out. The lap sao, the elbow's out. Okay? Let's go to the next part of the hand. Your left hand back in the center again. Pak sao to your right. Bent arm. Keep it. Don't lock it. Keep this bent. Which shows like a sharp. Okay? Now when you do this part of the form, remember, don't go past your shoulder. Because if a punch comes at me, and I miss, and I go too far, I've got to travel this much distance to cover my face. If I just go here and I miss, I can recover quicker. So you don't want to go past, you don't want to do what some people do called chasing hands. So you want to just pop 45 degrees forward. Now remember, in the Silum Tao form, you have 2 pak saos. One goes forward, one goes to the side. You do the forward pak sao now. Pivot the elbow joint, the elbow, strike to the jaw. Okay? Lock your arm. Lock your arm around and strike. Okay? Circle around, pull back. Okay, do the other side. I'll just watch on your own. Can I borrow you? Okay. I could be in the side neutral stance or front stance. I'll do it from a front stance. I punch, he knocks my hand away. I don't want to argue with him, so I circle around, trap, punch, right? Stand this way so they can see. Okay, do a little bit of an angle. Right here, okay? I punch. Now, when you're a beginner, we do the punch, circle around lightly. Once you really learn, like your rank now, like blue sash, start doing this. A little bit of a jut like that. Okay? You punch, circle around and jut. So I'll show you what I'm doing with that. I punch, I can jut, hawk, whatever I want to do. Do a reverse lock or whatever. So I punch, I feel some resistance, I circle around. Step in and punch. I can also use this as a fake. I can fake towards him, see? And he circles around. I draw his attention there. We're going to do it with a partner where you punch and someone touches your arm. Touch, you do like in the form, circle around, step, check off. So let's get into a side neutral stance, everybody. Right side neutral stance. Step forward, punch. Imagine someone hit your arm, circle around, check their elbow, punch, cover punch, cover punch. Do at least 3 or 4 punches. So come back and do that again. Step and punch, circle around, check the elbow, punch, 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 and step back. Again. When I do this, I don't step straight in here because he's got another hand. Watch how I angle. You can't see, come over here. Come around here so you can see. When I step in, well, I'm doing it from a front stance, I'll do it from the side neutral. When I step in, watch, I angle off. So ideally, the ideal position when you're fighting someone is to make a T. My body would be the horizontal line of the T. His body would be the vertical part of the T, but laying down. So see, this is an ideal position. With my center, with his shoulders evenly there. If I step here, he can do something else. I got to block it with a technique. So when I step forward, watch, I step off. So watch my footwork. I step and then step off. Think of an old-fashioned like a compass with the stylus and the needle. The needle goes here and then the stylus goes around. See? So I get to his blind side. Okay? So let's try that with a partner. We'll go around and help you. We good here? Okay. When I punch, he pops. And I just do this. You're always only one step out of getting out of the trap. Take a step back with your right foot. Just take a step back. Yeah, so you're out of the trap. So when I do this, I want to move to pin him. If I just, if I just stay here, take a half step back, he's out of the trap already. All right? So the next drill is going to be this and get the camera working. Sometimes people will do stuff like this to you. Hold your guard up. See? Now, loud side when I do it. See? So I come to attack him. Loud side block, that's okay. Okay? Now watch the elbow, don't worry. Okay? Or, in the drill we just did, I punch, he popped, he just left his arm there for me to do this. That's what we were doing before. What if he were to punch? So the Lao Sao has to be fast. Okay? So we're going to practice on this one. I'm going to do the same drill we did before, but as I release, I left an opening. He's going to occupy that opening. And I got a pocket. So it's going to be like this. Okay? To the partner. You can. Or zoom in, brother.
Where am I at?
You see this Chinese character for wing? This side can mean speak or recite or talk. This side means forever. There's a Wing Chun system that people write it W-E-N-G. They don't use this side of that character. So this is forever. This means speak forever or chant forever or recite. So a lot of Chinese characters have what they call a radical. The character for folk in Chinese depicts a man standing over a dog. It controls it. So, you can stop the camera now. So somebody gonna use,
I can do two.
you can do two, oh, multitasking. Okay. This folk, come over here so you can see this, don't block the camera. If you notice, the character folk depicts a fox's or dog or any canine's paw. If you have a dog at home, when it sits up, its paws hang like this, not straight to the floor. They use this when they play or fight to control the other dog's neck. So the Chinese character for folk means to subdue or control. So you don't want your hand flat like this because there's a path right to your body. You turn it this way so the path goes away. So in this folk style, I want the path to go away from my body, right? Now, if I do a folk style with my hand flat like this, and he strikes, the only way I can do it to stop him is to push down. So if you do that folk style with the hand flat, you have to push down to stop me. So when you push down, I go around, because I know you're going to push down. So I go around and strike. But if you do a proper folk style, you don't really have to do anything. No, you don't have to even judge. See? I can't hit him because he's redirected me. See? If it's this way, in order to stop me, see? Okay? So now, it's hard, right? It's hard. Okay? So let's analyze this. He's doing the tan sao, I'm doing the folk style. If my folk style is in a proper position, it's going to be directed. So it'll keep your palm up. Push towards me with the palm up. He can't strike me, right? So in order to strike me, he has to turn his palm towards me. See what he's done? By turning, let me show you this from this side. I can't strike him here because I'm at the smaller part of his arm, and his arm gradually wedges out, pushing me off the center. So what I do is I snake my way up his arm. Now I'm at the larger part of his arm. I've created an opening now. Now I can strike. Then he does the jump. Now he's got an opening, he exploits, and I do a bong sao to cover it. So then we go back to the position where we're at a stalemate. I can't strike him with my palm up. If he pushes towards me with his elbow in, he can. All right? So by turning my palm, I create an opening. I strike, he juts. He punches, I bong sao. Come back to the same position. Now notice, tan means to spread. Issue your energy in a straight line. I don't tan out here. He circles around, right? I don't pull my arm back because he's got forward intent. Oh, just push into me, right? So you always want to have forward intent when you're doing this. So I do the bong sao, I do the tan, pushing forward. If he moves his arm away, see, I push forward. But going to test your partner's forward, not opponent yet. If I drop my arm and he doesn't do anything, then he doesn't have forward intent. It's the same energy as when someone says, on your mark, get set, you're ready to go, so you want to have that forward intent. So we're going to practice this drill today. I'm trying to strike him in his chest, he's trying to punch me in my chest. So I want to do a vertical palm strike to his chest. He juts, he juts. Then he punches to my chest, and I have to lift the bong sao up. And then as I'm dropping my arm, I'm pushing forward, I'm pushing forward, I'm pushing forward, I'm pushing forward, I'm pushing forward the whole time. So remember, tan means to spread or disperse. You may see some Wing Chun books where they'll say palm up. That doesn't define the energy used. Palm up doesn't say anything. I can do palm up this way. But you want to spread along your center line. Okay? Okay. In the Silong Tao form, I do my bong sao, and as I drop my arm, I'm maintaining forward intent, and I push forward. You don't want to do the bong sao and flip this way, or you don't want to release or pull back towards your body. So, bong sao, tan sao, pushing forward. So when you're doing Silong Tao form, and you do the tan sao out here, my tan sao is not moving physically, but in my mind it's moving forward. Otherwise it's just dead in space. So the same energy, like when someone says, on your mark, get set, go, were you ready to go? So my tan is ready to spring forward. It's not just sitting there dead in space. You always got to push forward. And here's a test of that. Let's do this after you get on the camera. I'm pushing towards him as he's pushing towards me. If I wasn't, just punch in the chest. See? If I just have my hand here, get in space, punch. See? So I'm pushing, I have forward intent all the time, okay? Remember that, okay? Let's get a partner. Okay, one major thing about Chi Sao. Chi Sao is not, I can tap you, you can tap me. Anyone can tap somebody during Chi Sao. That doesn't mean it was a stopping or telling blow, all right? So what we're doing with Chi Sao is trying to feel energy. If I push out, he circles back inside, right? If I'm pushing down too much, he circles on top and strikes. So Chi Sao is just, you want to develop forward energy and some sensitivity. And the way it comes into play, if I punch at him and he does some kind of block, I felt what he did and I was able to recover it, right? So you're learning how to touch and react to someone's touch. One thing you don't want to do with Chi Sao, you're not driving the bus, okay? Because if he does the Bong Sao and his arms going that way, I'm just going to carry on past, right? So if he does if I do it to you, if I do the Bong Sao here, you know, it's going to take my arm. So I'm not driving the bus. I'm doing forward. I'm doing forward energy with my bone. As I turn, it's forward, 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 the whole time, forward energy. Not too much down, not out. He rotates. See, I want to develop my chi flow straight in a straight line. Okay? In a straight line, forward. Okay? So the same principle with one arm Chi Sao. Right? When he punches, when I drop my Tang Sao, I drop and push forward. But what if I push out? He circles around. And then he punches. Right? So I push out, he circles around. I cover. What we just do? No, just the basic drill. Basic drill. I push out, he circles around, I park, he bonks out. Okay. So here's what we're going to have you do. Your partner's going to push out. If I push out, what have I done? I've created an opening. He exploits it. Okay? He exploits that opening. So my intent may have been to do this, but if he punches at me, we hit each other at the same time. We're exchanging punches. So I push out, I pop, punch. Then he does the Bong Sao, we come back to the Fook Sao. Now he'll push out, I'll circle around and try to punch him. He'll pop, and then we go back. Now it's my turn to push out, right? And we go back again. He pushes out, I circle around, you pocket my pocket. If you pocket my wrist, I'm going to circle around back up top again. So, wait, I push out. See, I pocket towards the center of your mass. If I pocket out there, you're going to allow it, okay? So, I push out, I pocket, punch. He pushes out. I'm going to not fight his strength. He wants to go that way, let him go. So I circle around. There you go. He punches, he pops rather, and we go back to the beginning. So you're going to go out, punch. Then he pushes out, okay, with a partner, okay? Okay.
Oh, that.
So now, make sure everybody can see this. So now he strikes, and I do just a little bit of a jut. I don't want to over-exaggerate it. I just need enough to stop him from touching me, all right? But say if I push too hard, strike, I push too hard, he circles around, I punch. See, now if you punch at me, and I punch at you, we've exchanged. So let me get on top. I strike at you, you push too hard. I circle around, my intent's to punch you, but I see you coming towards me. So I stop, I know how to interrupt, and then I punch him, you won't. Okay? So we go back here. I want to strike him, he juts too hard. And what is one of the main principles of Wing Chun? Push down. I don't want to fight his force. If he pushes down, I let it go. I'm not going to argue strength, right? So I strike, he pushes down. My intent's to do this. I strike, he pushes down, I want to do that. See? But as I'm punching, he punches at me, so I have to interrupt. Right? So we'll go back again. I strike, he pushes too hard, I circle around, he punches, I pock. He strikes at me, I push too hard, he circles around. See, if you punch, yeah, you're going to pock me. Okay? Let's try that again. I push too hard, pock, punch. If I strike and push too hard, punch, right? Okay? You got it? Okay? I'll help you out. Work with this.
The red button.
Okay. The bone saw's in the center. The wrist is near the center line. You never use the bone this way because a punch can still hit me. But I would turn, but I still kept that relationship. I'll do it this way. See, my wrist is still in the center. So I use the bone, come here for a second. If he threw a straight punch at me, I wouldn't stay here because if he pushed through, he hit me. So I turn offline. But look, it's still in the center, right? So if I'm in a side neutral stance, he punches, I move offline. But look, move your hand for a second. Watch, it's still here. So that's why we do the forearm square shoulder. A lot of people think we fight this way, but all this does is gives you muscle memory, like the home keys on the keyboard. So I know that when I do the gun, it's in my center. It's not out there, it's in my center. So when a punch comes, I gun in the center, see? Just like in the form, okay? So when I do a ton, I do the ton in the center. So when the punch comes, I'm in the center. I don't want to end up out there someplace. So you're gonna practice this bone saw. We're gonna work on this. You can turn it off now.
I'll throw the both sides in. There you go. That worked too.
Okay.
We're going.
Now, the weakness of the bone saw is, you expose your flank. So this is why in chi sao, you always want to go forward. Let's do it this way so you can see my bone saw. I always want to push always forward energy, right? If I'm doing the lap sao drill, when he laps, I'm pushing forward. So you can also use this to attack someone too, to close the line, all right? So you don't want to do like you're driving a bus. You want to go straight forward with your bone saw. If I go in circles, I expose my elbow. So the drill we just did, okay, side neutral stance. I'm going to punch, do a bad bone saw going that way. Remember what we did before with the lao sao? He's exposed his elbow. So remember this from the Silon Tao form. You get escaping, coming back to the outside. So if I punch and he does I circle around, check that elbow, strike from there. So I come in and punch. Even if he does a good bone saw, I can still move around and strike him, right? And then from here to wherever I want to do it from the other side. I punch, do the good one side. You come in, I step off line, whoops. just step off line, let me work it. Even before he punches. Okay? So I want you to practice this. Just hold the bone saw for the drill. Here, just leave it there for a while. We'll work with it when he does something else. Because there's always going to be an X factor to the X factor to the X factor. So when I punch, just step off, lock, strike. Now notice when I do this, I chun. In case he steps to his right, it does a left round punch. Except here, see, step over. Yeah. See, so I'm here, so in case he steps off, I got that covered. All right? So here's going to be the drill. I'm going to step in and punch the body, he can step off, or I can just catch him here. Okay? The partner, go ahead. before with the lao sao, he's exposed his elbow. So remember this from the seal and tau form. You get escaping, coming back to the outside. So if I punch and he does it, I circle around, check that elbow, strike from there. So I come in and punch. Even if he does a good bone sao, I can still move around and strike him, right? And then from here to whatever I want to do it from the other side. I punch, do the good ones. You come in, I step off line, whoops. Just step off line, let me work it. Even before he punches. Okay? So I want you to practice this. Just hold the one side for the joke. Here, just leave it there for a while. We'll work with it when he does something else. Because there's always going to be an X factor to the X factor to the X factor. So when I punch, just step off, lock, strike. Now notice when I do this, I chun. In case he steps to his right, it does a left round punch. Step here, see, step over. Yeah. See, so I'm here, so in case he steps off, I got that covered. All right? So here's going to be the drill. I'm going to step in and punch the body, he can step off, or I can just catch him here. Okay? The partner.
Punching person. Really want to slow. That's right again. Oh, yeah, punch. There you go, around. There you go. Cover. Again. Very well. Yeah. Now, if you want to, but you can't have balance. Yeah, you'll do it. Contact. That's not going to take us out the lockers.